All right, it's test fitting time. Time to take off the F body header, the spark plugs and the spark plug wires and the dipstick tube. And let's see if that Summit Racing turbo manifold is going to fit and clear. And let's mock it up so that way we can finally have some answers and some real world results. So stay tuned. Let's see what happens. All right, so here we have the Summit Racing Pro Turbo Manifold already mocked up. I haven't put the actual turbo on yet because I wanted to give you guys a quick view of what it looks like before the turbo goes on. So obviously this wastegate location shouldn't be an issue because you can rotate it. I don't think that's going to be a problem. But you can see this one, it actually does clear barely the heater hose loop. I don't know how it'll go with the heater hoses whenever I actually run them. But here's an issue that I'm already seeing. It might be possible that if the suspension bounces enough, it could hit the wastegate. So that might be an issue. But I think as long as I guess you're not taking big curves or Duca hazarding big curves, or I mean big dips and whatnot, you might be okay. So that's an issue. And then you can't really rotate the wastegate too far down this way because obviously you'll hit your control arm. Now these are my TRZ control arms, tubulars. And so like I said, it'll hit there if you rotate it. So you're kind of stuck with this direction on the routing for that wastegate. And then here's another location, obviously, or here if you wanted to, but you can't go any further because obviously you're going to be pointing it towards the engine belt and the water pump loop. So that's what it's looking like so far. Clearance for the spark plugs, that's going to be a bitch. As you can see, you can get to the back one. And then I have this Flex Loker oil dipstick. Looks like it won't fit the same, so just kind of play with it and figure out how I'm gonna mount it now. And hopefully it's not in the way of the spark plug and the spark plug wire. So we'll definitely have to run 90-degree spark plugs wires to these three. This one you might get away with running what I've been running, which is these MSDs right here. So maybe this one will be fine right here, maybe, but we'll see. So far that's what it's looking like. Also that turn down for the driver's side to passenger side, that crossover tube, that turn down looks like it's actually right here. It's in the way. So that's not gonna work. It's too close. Look at my finger. Let me pause and I'll be back and I'll grab like some sort of ruler to better show this what's going on here. All right, so here I have this somewhat semi-straight scraper type of deal. So here's that V-band, and it looks like that'll be a clearance issue. Now if I can bolt on the V-clamp and then kind of like notch the cross down tube, I'm okay with that. I'll like notch it or dent it in and see if that works, but definitely gonna be an issue right here. But we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna mount the turbo right now and see what other issues we can run into. So we'll mount it and then go from there. But I just wanted to give you an idea of so far what it's looking like without the turbo in case you want to see. But it looks like will clear the control arm, that bar. Now it'll be a pain in the butt to try to align it and then put the shims in there. You'll have to reach from under this side, you know, put your hand down this way and get to that back one, to that little opening. So let me mount the turbo and see what this is gonna look like now. Okay, here we have the turbo mounted. Let's see, get a zoom in somewhat. It looks like it'll clear my hood. Obviously, I'm gonna rotate it more this way instead of going up, but it'll definitely clear my hood. So it should clear other A bodies or other G bodies hood clearance. So I mean, it does mount kind of high, but don't let that, you know, little spigot or whatever you want to call it, that outlet, fool you. You can rotate it down or however you want to. Obviously you can't go too down, but I'm gonna rotate it probably like right here, and then I'll run like something like right here and bring it to an intercooler. Here's what it looks like. I like where it sits in relation to the throttle body. Get a little zoom in. Sorry for the unsteady video, but it's better than those World Star fight videos. At least I can, you know, stay on track. But there it goes. Let's see other things. So I thought I was gonna have a clearance issue with this fill deal because the Kumar truck manifold, for sure you have to take this off and then put it right to the valve cover. But I'll have clearance, you know, have a hand. So yeah, the heat of the turbo can melt this, but I'm gonna run a blanket anyways. And if it starts melting it, I'll be able to tell. And if it melts it, then I'll figure something else. Maybe wrap this too in some sort of like heat protecting thing. And then the coil pack, you know, I can get my hand in here. And maybe that, like I said, that blanket would help keep heat away from here. And then whenever I run the turn down pipe from here down there, or if I do some sort of like bullhorn or whatever that the cool kids call it nowadays, but I think I'm gonna run it down there. I'll taper it down. I think this is a 3-inch or 4-inch. I don't know. I forgot. I have to look at the specs, but whatever it is, I'll make it to a 3-inch and then go down. I think it's a 4, but if it's a 4, then I'll go down to a 3. And if it's a 3, then I'll stay with the 3, and I should be able to squeeze it in right here. So I'll grab a measure of tape to make sure to show that how much room it is, but it's about what my hand can get in there. So that looks like it's gonna be a win here so far. But like I said, I'll have to figure out the spark plugs. I have to start spending money and throwing money at it and see if one of them sticks and you know, solve that issue. But at least like I said, I thought this was gonna be an issue, which is no big deal. Duh. And then I thought it was gonna hit this, so no big issue. And whatever this turn down pipe ends up looking, I'll wrap it or do something to keep heat off of the coil packs. So next thing is gonna be I have that hooker crossover tube, and I think they're 2.5s. So I'll try to see if it fits and see how it works. Obviously this blow off valve right here, when it mounts like this, I'll just be turning it up and down this way. So the blow off valve will either go that way or this way. And then I'll somehow get it connected over there and then make this one connect over there too as well. So let me put up that little pipe and we'll go from there. All right, so here we go. So this is gonna be what would fit the hooker crossover on the passenger side, but the V-band flange right here is actually smaller than what's on the Summit. So the Summit is, I looked at the specs right now when I have the camera off, and it said it was a 2.5 V-band, but that sucker's gonna be more than that. I think it's gonna be like a 3.5 V-band clamp. So that's gonna be fun trying to figure that out. This right here from Hooker is advertised as a 2.25. So I think that's the inside of this tube right here. And then that fits into this V-band, which I think it makes it into a 3-inch. Because if you put it in there, it doesn't fit. So now I'm gonna have to figure that out. But let's say just, you know, for shits and giggles, right? That's how people say it. Let's say I managed to get it in there. Maybe if I use like a V-band clamp that will fit this Summit brand, and then the tube on the inside will be smaller, like kind of like reduced on the inside, I can clear this frame, and that'll work. You know, that might be one way to get around that. So I'm gonna have to do some more research and find out which one is the perfect one for that one, and then see if they have reducers for the inside of them, and have somebody weld me one. I'll probably just weld it straight, because obviously this piece isn't going to work for this, because this is for the hooker system, and this is for that will be for the passenger side. Now this is right here is what's going to connect my driver's side to the passenger side. So I'll get that connected, and then I'll have to figure out how to get it over to the new turbo manifold. So that'll be a little bit less of having to worry about it, and it should be easier to get it. But at least this right here would get it over to this side. So, you know, and for being a Holley product, look at all that crap that's inside of it, man. They could have cleaned that out. That's one more thing I have to do, especially for how much you pay for this. You know, they could have welded the inside. I think I paid like $300 and something, like $380 or something like that, man. Come on, hooker. Y'all could have done better than that. Even this Summit one right here, it was clean from the inside. Come on, man. Anyways, let me grab this measuring tape and give you an idea of how much room we have here from the firewall. I'm sorry, I got one hand. So it looks like it's going to be about 4 inches. So you can run a 3-inch downpipe through here, you know, like right, squeeze it right in there, or right in here somewhere. So I think this is a 4-inch exit. So I'll do the 4-inch and then immediately reduce it to a 3-inch. You know, if it loses a little bit of power or something, I'll be fine. What they say, turn up the boost. So that's where we at right now. If anybody has any questions, you know, leave something down in the comments, and as this goes, maybe by the time somebody actually sees this video, I'll be done and it'll be running. But thankfully there's another YouTuber named The Shark. Hopefully he comments on it, and then you guys can check out his page or his channel. But he actually had already tested different manifolds. So the only one he hadn't tested yet was the eBay one and the Summit one. So I went ahead and did the Summit one. Since I have a Summit here nearby, I could just, you know, return it if it wasn't going to work. So it was easier for me to try it. So thankfully, you know, he shared that information with me, and it kept me away from buying that Huron and some of the other ones that I had in mind. Because he said that the way that man, my mind's going blank right now. But the way that the wastegate doing majigger, it would turn down, that it was going to hit probably the control arms or whatnot. So, you know, I guess it would have been like down here somewhere. It would have been in the way, you know, sorry about that. But it would have been like right here, you know, maybe up a little higher. It would have been like right here. So, you know, I was like, man, you know what? I'm going to follow this man's advice. He's in the same boat as I am, trying to figure something out. You know, they don't have a specific kit for us guys that want to be single turbo. They do have kits for twin turbos, you know, like that Armageddon one. That one's pretty neat. But, you know, obviously for me, you lose clearance over there with the alternator and the brake booster. But yeah, you take that off. It's a street car, my man. So, anyways, like I said, shouldn't have no issues with the hood clearance. Once, especially if you turn this down, you can even leave it like this and you probably don't have no clearance issues. What I thought, again, recapping it, is this shouldn't be an issue if this is what you have. If you're running it down to the valve cover, there's one less thing you have to worry about. My thing is that I guess this LSA valve covers, I can't take it off to show you, but it has 2 notches on there. Most like oil caps, they have 1 notch. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But you know, I'm having that issue. But it ain't gonna be a problem because it'll have clearance, and I'm gonna throw a blanket on there. I'm gonna get a nice blanket on slap that. Anyways, sorry about that. Yeah, get a nice blanket and we should be good. And then it'll help with the heat on these coil packs. And then man, you know what, I just realized I'm gonna have to relocate this regulator. It might be too close to it, so I may have to move it up or just move it out the way completely and make some new lines. So I'll figure that out as it goes. But so far it looks like this may work, man. It may work. It's just gonna have to be figuring out that that connector right there, how I'm gonna V-band it, and if I can get like a reduced tube, which it shouldn't be a problem. It should barely clear now that you think of, now that I think about it, not that you think about it. So let me grab something real quick. All right. So technically, whatever. This is sticking out this way. So if the tube is welded on the inside, for example, like this, then you'll have that clearance, right? So it'll be fine here, and then you'll have the clamp, right? And then the tube will be smaller, so it'll clear it by a hair, a mosquito hair right here, and it shouldn't be a problem. I think it's gonna work. So let's go for this angle, see if you can see it. I don't know if you can see it because I'm not down there, but let me go through this wheel. See? Let me zoom in. You know? There you go. It doesn't touch it right there, but gives you an idea of where it goes. So, you know, that's what we're working with so far. And like I said, it'll be spark plugs, wires. Get them 90s. So I'm gonna do some quick research. I'm gonna order some 90 spark plug wires, and then I'm gonna also fit them, and that way I can like kind of like tighten them down, and then go from there. You know, so and try to figure out that V-band issue. So, all right, man. Looks like that's where we're at right now. Now, while we're here, I'm gonna run the supply line through here, drop it down this way, and then run it to a port, like right down the valve cover, one of those Gen 4 with the little dill nipple sticking out this way. And then the return back to the pan. Oh wait, my bad. Wait, scratch that. So the drain down here will drop down there. So I'll run it through here, drop it down, probably use one of those bolts, and then you put a tube clamp on it, one of those motor mount bolts right there, and then just run it to the front of the valve, the timing chain cover, one of those Gen 4, and then the supply line, run it from here up like this, and then I guess somehow to the back, and then drop it down over there, so like this, and down over there to the oil sensor sending unit, little, you know, plug, connector, provision, however you want to call it. So anyways, I'm gonna put go get some spark plug wires, and then go from there. So any other questions will have to be answered in the comments. Unless it's I feel like it's important, then I just make another video of it, like everything like legitly already bolted on. So hope somebody finds this useful. And now I'm just gonna, you know, shut up and record more, so that way maybe you can catch an angle that you wanted to see that I didn't show. All right, that's it.